If Ashley Klein referees Origin 1 like he's refereed in the NRL to start the 2026 season, he will single-handedly destroy the biggest showpiece rugby league has got. Hi everyone, welcome along to the Mark My Words podcast. It has arrived, ladies and gentlemen. State of Origin, you beautiful thing. And I've got two beautiful humans with me. Boys, we cannot wait. New South Wales, Queensland. MG, you've been there. Bring it on.
What a week it's been. We've had Magic Round. Now we haven't had a selection trial for Origin after Magic Round before, but this week was just been fantastic. The Origin teams are out. I can't wait for Origin next Wednesday. I mean, a week away, from the biggest day of the calendar.
And how good is it? We've got all these young blokes that are going to make their debut. Piggy, this is what it's all about. I mean, representing your country, yes, is the pinnacle.
Yep.
But when it comes to the game, you want to be involved in it. It's all got to be State of Origin.
Yeah, State of Origin for sure for all of those players, especially now with how big it's been. And, as you mentioned, there's plenty of players making their debut, and that'll be a special moment for them all come next Wednesday night. So great time of year, isn't it?
Fantastic.
Getting a bit cooler. Start drinking a bit of red wine. Origin comes around.
I've got the Ugg boots on at home at the mountain. Got the fire out the front.
Do you sometimes, do you have a man cave at your place?
No, I don't.
I was going to say, do you like sort of get in front of your old sky blue jumper and genuflect and say,
I haven't got any memorabilia in my house whatsoever.
What?
Not one piece of memorabilia.
Really?
No.
In your house?
Or anywhere in my...
What about your garage?
No, I haven't got a garage.
Wow.
My house is funny. Not funny, haha. Funny, looks funny shape.
Right.
Like I've got my pools out the like I live in like a battle axe block.
Yeah, you've got a big driveway,
and I've got my pools out the front.
Yeah,
and then it's kind of goes up, and then I've got Mav's room, but no, I've given most of my stuff away.
Really?
I know my jersey that me and Wally had our run-in with. Gussie Wallen's got that. Did a promo on the grill team way back, and somehow he got his hands on it. Oh. And I want it back, Angus.
What about you?
Was that a threat or?
Just put this way, I know where you live.
He called him Angus too.
Eleanor Heights.
That's
serious.
Do you keep any memorabilia?
I've got a heap of my stuff, but I'm not allowed to put it in the house.
No.
I've got the Super League Grand Final winning jersey that's framed and everything. I got that for my 40th birthday, but it sits in the garage with all my. Yeah. I say my sporting memorabilia, but when I say that, I mean I've got Don Bradman, I've got Michael Schumacher, I've got Harry Kuehl, I've got all this other. That's where it is. Like it's just with that.
See, isn't that funny? Like you guys don't have any memorabilia up on the walls. Yeah. You come to my house, it's like a sports museum.
Well, your office is.
Well, that's all I own. I don't put up family photos. I haven't got paintings to put up on the wall. It's just sporting memorabilia.
No photo of Kevin the cat.
No, there's shan't be.
You know, I've only got one piece of sporting memorabilia, and that was when I was in the Western Reds. And our first ever function over there, we sat at the Wacker, and in walks DK Lilly and Kim Hughes.
Wow.
Kim Hughes ended up being my manager while I was over there. Long story.
Really?
We'll talk maybe another day for that. But DK Lilly, I sat next to him for our inaugural lunch at the Wacker, and there was a piece on him that went up.
Yep.
And I went, come on.
Gotta have it.
Not 70s, buttons down here, chains.
Yeah.
Didn't have the hairy chest at 12 years of age. But then the headband came out. And then DK Lilly was my idol. And I'm sitting next to him having lunch. Like it's.
How good's that?
So I've got a piece of, that's the only piece of memorabilia I've ever bought.
Wow.
Really?
Ever bought.
Wow.
Hey, Bush, just before we get into a closer look at these two teams, talking about Origin in general. So, MG, you've experienced it, right? Tell us what it was like before, when you first selected, when you're in the dressing room, because there's a few players in these two teams that are going to experience it for the first time, and why everyone says Origin is a step above anything else they've ever played.
Well, in 1980, when this concept first came to be, my old man was a mad Para fan, and he said, "I'm going to be interested." Because I said to him, "Can I?" I think it was a Tuesday night. I said, "Can I start and watch this with you?" And he goes, "Yeah." Like it was on at 8:30, and it was a school night, and I think I was in year 6 when it happened, and he said, I'm going to be interested to see what happens with Arthur Beetson and Mick Cronin because they're playing against each other. They usually play in the same team at Para, even though Artie came out of reserve grade to play. And after 5 minutes, when you see Arthur Beetson throwing punches at Mick Cronin, you go, what's going on with this game? This is different. So, 9 years later, I was lucky enough to play it, and it was, wow. It's just one of them. Everything, it's kind of like when you have kids. Everyone's going to tell you how good it is, and then grandkids is even better. But until you've had it, you don't understand it. And that was like me in my first Origin game. I was 19. I ran out. in a dead rubber. And I remember
19 mg.
Yeah. I remember
Wow.
Gene Miles just looked like he was 8'1". Like I was out there and going, what am I doing here? Like, what am I actually doing here? I've never watched the game back because I'm embarrassed by it. I've never ever watched that game back because I didn't do anything. Even though I was a dead rubber, they won 36-6, I think, Queensland. And all my memories is Gene Miles' turf coming up behind his boot, running away from me, or Kerrod Walters out from dummy half, making a fool of me on the blind. I was just so much quicker. I remember thinking, there must be 15 minutes gone in the first half. There was 5 minutes to go before half time. I'd made 4 runs, missed 5 tackles. It was just phenomenal. And I thought, I wonder if I ever get another opportunity to do that again. I'll change things around. I'll make sure I get in the game early, and history will tell you that I did a couple of years later. But it's just everything they tell you about it is true. It's your lungs, your heart, and your legs go in 5 minutes because you're so nervous, and it's just such a big. Wally Lewis is there. There's Mal Meninga's there. There's the cream of the crop.
How many NRL games had you played before Origin?
30 odd.
Wow.
Maybe.
Right. So you still had 30 odd NRL games.
I
under your
18
belt.
were
18, okay.
In 87.
Wow.
So then I played the full year I played 12 games in 87, then I played the full year 88. So 22, 34, 35 games.
Then straight into Origin,
Yeah.
19.
And I had a really good year.
That's
that year.
amazing.
I had a mad, I was on, without being, I'm not an egotistical bloke, but I was in really good, how do you spell that? 2 syllables, 3 syllables. I was having a really good year in 89. Egotistical, 4 syllables.
Testicle.
No, Dad, not you again. I was having a really good year, and I thought, I'm a big chance to make this first team, and then I got word that Jack Gibson wasn't a fan of mine because I was just too aggressive. He wanted more, because Gavin Miller was 1 second row, and he picked Johnny Cartwright over me. And, Johnny Cartwright's a fantastic player, but I thought at that time my form warranted me being at least in the 15 or 17, wherever it was. But I didn't. I made the dead rubber, and that was a bit of a hit to the soul. But yes, it's everything they say it is. It's just it's a game that that brings you back to earth really quickly if you're not prepared.
Yeah.
And even before the game, I was teammates with Peter Kelly in '89, and I said to him, I was so nervous before the game. You hear the Queenslanders at Lang Park, and you hear all the Queenslanders outside, and funny, just sidebar, coming down on the way to the game, we're in the bus, and about 5 k's out from Suncorp Stadium or Lang Park, you hear this, then it gets louder. And as you're coming up, we drove the bus down Caxton Street.
Yeah.
And it's like and then you hear the cups hitting, the cans hitting the windows, and then they started rocking and we're going, what the fuck? What if they get us? We're gone. So you're shitting yourself from the minute you get there. And you get off the bus in the underground, and then you just going, whoa. So Peter Kelly was my teammate, and he's experienced, he's kind of at the end of his career, I'm starting mine. I said, Kel, what do you expect? And his fucking eyes were rolling in his head. He's going, I don't know, mate. Just get out there and bash some fuck. I didn't. I froze. I froze. It's one of them games. So any advice to these guys who are making their debuts is get involved in the game quickly. Do something in the game that makes you just go, okay, this is a normal game.
Yep.
But it's not a normal game.
Yeah.
Because both teams will find an extra 10% of what rugby league is about in the NRL. Yeah. And you don't know how they do it.
That's a great story time.
I just, mate, I've got to sit here and host this podcast. I get fascinated listening to Origin stories. I just found myself zoning out of my job here and just listening to the story. But honestly, I never played sport at a professional level, right? So I'm in awe of people that, like you guys, that did. But to grow up watching Origin and to appreciate that you've been there and done that, and off the back of what you've just said, it's just so good.
Did you play in 90 or not?
No. I tore my groin in 90.
In 1990, I was ball boy for the Bulldogs SG ball team, right? They played the grand final of the SG ball before the Origin. Glenn Hall and I were the ball boys for the Bulldogs SG ball. And I remember being in the tunnel, 10 years old, I think I was, and the New South Wales team came in on the bus, and Hawley and I were just there and they're obviously huge to you when you're 10 years of age. Yeah. And we're watching the team come in going, oh my God. As a 10-year-old, look at these giants come in. And to this day, I can't remember the SG ball game. I can't remember the Origin game. But all I can remember is these huge men from New South Wales walking.
Like a dream.
Can you remember who they were, like the players that were in that
Yeah,
team?
I'm pretty sure it was like Chief Harrigan, Laurie Daly. Like I can picture those guys coming in. That's why I won
Blocker.
MG.
Yeah, wow.
Blocker was there.
Yeah.
I don't think Chief was. Chief was 92, I
Or
think.
maybe, yeah.
I think it would have been Blocker, Lazo.
I'll have to check the year that it was.
Yeah.
I thought it was 1990, but I'll
See,
have to
because
check
like
about
off the back of what MG just said, Piggy, these days as a commentator with a continuous call team, you're on the sideline, so you get to see, you got the best seat in the house, and you can see the animosity, the intensity, the speed with which the game is played. But the other thing that I always find fascinating is you go to an NRL game, the players will go out onto the field for a warm-up.
I know.
Origin, they warm up in the shed. So the
Yes.
first time they get that intensity and that atmosphere is bang when it hits you in the
But
face
that's what
running
you
out.
want as
That's
well.
what you want.
That's what I wanted as a player playing an NRL game. I hated going
Same.
out onto the main deck to warm up.
Well, I
I'm
had
like,
so I had both, Piggy. I had because I started my career a lot earlier than you.
Yeah.
87 was my first year of first grade, or grade was my first year. 85, so we'd warm up out the back paddock.
Yeah.
And then you would never go on the field until like I came back from Perth in '98, and they started warming up on the field. I remember going to Marathon Stadium up at Newcastle, and they said, "Let's go for warm up," and I went, "What, on the field?" I went, "No, you got to run out and see them for the first time."
Yeah,
and
yeah.
that was kind of, and I love now how they do it in Origin because you don't see them. You see them warming up in the background. You get the Queensland legend, maybe Cam Smith or JT talking to you get the New South Wales legend, Gal, someone talking to the Blues.
Yep.
And then you just see it's on.
Yeah.
You just see it's on. You know it's on. And even though you can't punch these days, you can't elbow, you can't shoulder charge, these guys, when they run out in the field, know that they've got a little bit more license than they usually do in the NRL. They've got that little bit more license. And, I mean, the first 5 minutes of this game, and it depends on Ashley Klein, what he does with that whistle. Well, I hope he puts it in his pocket because we picked 40 players from the NRL who earned their position, and we want to see them play.
Well, what are your thoughts, boys? Piggy, we'll start with you. What overall, what do you make of the two teams side by side?
Oh, look, I'm fine with the New South Wales team. I think it's a very, very good football team. Queensland team, obviously the big one was no
Walsh.
Reece Walsh, but they've gone with Ponga. Totally understand that. Like Ponga's been killing it since he's been back and when he started the year before he went out with injury. Interesting. Jojo Fafita gets an opportunity.
Yeah, like there's that Robert Toyer from last year.
Yeah, but you got to back Billy. Well, not that I'm a Queenslander.
Of course
but
you do.
His ability to select these players because he's got a history of it.
He-
and he knows what he wants.
I'll just say this about Billy Slater. I know we do this podcast here, but for the last couple of years, I hosted the Billy Slater podcast with the great man.
Yep.
And one thing that I came to learn with Billy, and I didn't know him from Bar Soap until we did the podcast together, he is meticulous.
Yep.
He would talk about watching overhead shots of games, the shot from behind the goalposts. He would study each and every one of these players, and he would identify deficiencies. There'd be a reason why Reece Walsh isn't in the team. Like the amount of work that he puts in behind the scenes before he names that team is just extraordinary. So for those people criticising Billy, just know that he's done his homework.
That's why you see a Jojo Fafita and you go, he knows. There's a rhyme and a reason to his selection. And as MG just said, Toya last year, 10 games, wasn't it?
Shibasaki. Back from nowhere.
Shibasaki came in. So
Having said that, it'd want to be a good Queensland team without Reece Walsh in it.
Yeah, that's like I mean,
Well-
remember like 2 weeks ago when Cameron Smith gave his team.
yeah, he didn't put him in it.
We knew then.
Yeah.
We kind of got the inkling then that there was something going on with Reece Walsh, and voila, he's not in the 20. And I think you're right. Billy Slater is the best fullback I've ever seen play the game. So whatever he says, you got to go with. And the same with Laurie Daly. Laurie Daly's probably on the podium as New South Wales' best ever players. So Laurie doesn't pick teams that he thinks going to lose. He picks blokes who he think are going to be there for the job. So look, Tedesco. Look, I feel for Dill Edwards.
Yep.
But if they picked a bloke who wasn't exactly the same as Dill Edwards this year, I would have been pissed off.
Yeah, but now you can't, can you? I know.
I will say this: when you're an incumbent,
Yeah.
I think it's your job to lose your spot. And I don't think Dill Edwards has lost his spot this year with how he's played.
Agreed.
I just think that's. But you know what? I'm backing everything they've done. I like the one thing I will say. I'm so glad to see Victor Radley. I don't know whether it's 2 or 3 years too late, but because I don't know where Victor's going to come on the field. I know he said on an edge, but I thought that's where Jackson Ford would have been perfect to play. Victor Radley, but I look at him and I think that's Origin. He is Origin.
Yeah.
Like, I can't wait till he gets his robe off. Well, you might even start. I would start him. Start Victor. Loz, start him.
You might lose him.
But start him. But start him.
Yeah. Hey, you're talking about Peter Kelly before. Could you imagine Radley's eyes rolling in his head wanting to get out on the field?
Well, that's probably why you got to start him. But like Cam Murray, he can play 80 minutes. What we'll see, that boys, if you agree with me, is probably Fanua Blake or Barnett will probably play the first 20, and then Yowie will probably go up the front row, and then Cam Murray will come on lock.
Yep.
Well, this is the thing that I take from the two sides, MG and Piggy. Like, as much as the starting sides are fantastic, you look at the benches for both sides.
Yep.
It'll be very interesting, and that's where I think the coaches will play a massive part in Origin 1, how they utilise the men on the benches.
Yep.
Well, when Brandy tells me a little bit of an insight when he was coaching with Freddie, like he was in charge of the substitutes and the bench. He had to see like checking their heart rates on the stats and their post-contact meters, and if they're like, that's a hard job.
Where they're at.
That was his sole job. He had basically had his head down the whole game, watching stats and looking at who's going to come on next off the bench.
Yeah.
So the bench, you're right, Mark Levy. That is exactly what you're saying is correct. That's the most important thing in Origin is their bench and how you use them.
Yeah, well, it's going to be interesting too with the 9 for New South Wales, because you got Robson there, you got Blake Brayley, but where does he get Brayley on? Does he use two interchanges? Does he get Robson back on, or does he play Robson for 50 minutes and then bring Brayley on for the last 30?
That would be the ideal scenario.
Yeah.
I would say that them picking two hookers, they would say, okay, Robson, he can play 50 minutes straight, and then bringing Brayley on when they're getting a little bit tired, fatigued
in the back end of the game. I agree.
If it goes that way,
then you're saving interchange.
That's
because
right.
You're not going on and off. Yeah. So it'll be, but and again, a lot of those middles there can play long minutes for New South Wales.
The other talking point is Sam Walker. I mean, great rugby league family, getting his opportunity to debut in the 7 jumper for Queensland, and how many Queenslanders have made their debut and just absolutely shine. The thing I loved about Sam Walker, there was a story earlier this week, and he virtually came out and said, I want the New South Wales team to target me. Yeah. That's what you want to hear from a Queensland player, say, I'm ready, bring it on.
Oh, they're all going to look. I promise you one thing, Sam. Your wish will be granted.
Yes.
Your wish will be granted.
Who will it be? It'll be Hudson.
I hope
Young.
it's Ola Kawatu.
I know, but I'm thinking Hudson Young on the left. Sam Walker will be on the
right. You know
right.
what? Wherever Sam,
Munster will be on the left.
Wherever Sam defends, you'll see
right.
Ola Kawatu go like this. Ola Kawatu will go with no.
But even Hudson Young, he's mate. Imagine him annoying.
But I'm glad they went with Sam Walker.
Yeah.
We've all agreed that his time has come. He's done enough for the Roosters. He's got DCE, who I think he's learnt a lot off this year. He's kind of settled his game a bit under DCE. He hasn't done that. He doesn't go for the trick shots all the time. He manages the game a lot better now with DCE and his hip pocket. Yeah. So, mate, he's got Munster, who's right next to him running the show. So, he'll be fine. He's
going to be a worry on the other side of the ball when he's got the ball, because he can come up with things that some halves can't come up with and see things that other halves can't come up with. Then he backs himself to execute them. His short kicking game and his ability to read where the defence is and where the fullbacks are, and to put those little kicks in behind the line for his back rowers and those sorts of things. He's going to be so dangerous if he has that confidence at that level to do exactly what we've seen him do in the NRL.
Yeah. Well, we're all going to tip New South Wales to win. Will it be a tight game, or do you think they'll do it comfortably?
No, they'll be tight.
Yeah.
They'll be tight. 2 to 4 points.
Yeah, you touched on Ashley Klein. I just hope, I want to be careful how I say
Yes.
Actually, no, I'm not going to be careful how I say it. Can someone explain to me at the National Rugby League why not only Ashley Klein's been appointed to Origin, how Jared Sutton is the standby? I've heard from members of the NRL referee squad, and they've made the point to me. They go, Mark, what hope have we got? Like, we're out there toiling away. We think we're going well. We're being judged well. We're not getting criticised. Yet the NRL keeps giving it to the same blokes who go out there and want to make the spectacle about them. If Ashley Klein referees Origin 1 like he's refereed in the NRL to start the 2026 season, he will single-handedly destroy the biggest showpiece rugby league has got. So, Ashley, my advice to you, and I know we have a love-hate relationship, keep your bloody pocket in your whistle, stop waving your arm, and let the two teams who all the people pay and want to watch to see decide the game. Origin is refereed the best when you stay out of the game and you let both sides go at it. Are you boys with me or not?
Yep,
Yeah.
I'm with you, 100%.
I can't believe you got the game. But anyway,
I think that's a given, but I think
I didn't even know.
I think that the powers that be will be saying to Ashley,
supposed to be an expert.
This is our showpiece. This is our big showpiece. Put the whistle in the pocket.
Yeah,
not
but
your pocket in your whistle.
But I don't want to make this all about referees, but you think about your Adam G's, your Grant Atkins, your Wyatt Raymonds, all these young blokes are doing extremely well. And I haven't spoken to any of them, but just people around the group that tell me that a lot of the younger referees have got the shits because they never get a look in. And the common response I get from the NRL is, and they won't like me saying this, well, we've got to give the blokes a chance that have got the runs on the board, the experience. Well, contrary to that is, how do young blokes get experience if you don't appoint them to the game in the first place? Anyway, I'm Mark Levy. That's my opinion.
Well, I think that'll be getting clipped up.
Drop the pen. Do it, Daryl.
Can you
Snort.
Anyway, it is what it is.
So the last thoughts on this, okay? Let's last thought on Queensland and New South Wales. Is there one player from both state that didn't get picked that you would have loved to have seen in the maroon and the blue jersey?
No, I'm really happy with
I wanted to see. I wanted a big red. I wanted Horsburgh in the maroon.
Hot dog Horsburgh.
I wanted hot dog Horsburgh, and I wanted to see Jackson Ford.
Ford for me. Although I would have liked to have seen Latrell. I know he's injured.
Jacob Saifidi's probably one that surprised me.
Kalamatangi could have been unlucky as well.
Yeah. Yep. Definitely.
Anyway, the Blues.
But you know what? Exactly. We get paid for our opinion. We can have a look at the teams, but on the end of the night, we're New South Wales. We're blue, and both teams, both states have picked fantastic teams.
Be careful, you might get accused of being a cheerleader.
Oh, he hasn't forgot that one.
That one's for you, Buzzy boy. Before we get to a break, actually, Magic Round last week.
Yep.
Any atrocities, any stories that you want to share?
You're an atrocity.
Why?
You know what
Well,
he did? He caught up with. Before you tell your story, I'll give you a little bit of an insight because I done 1 till 5 Saturday, and then I done 1
You
till
done
4.
a number on yourself.
1 till 4 on Sunday. So on Saturday he said I'll be back. So you done Friday as well, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He said okay, with you. So he said I'm back there at about 7:30. After the 5:30 game, I said okay, I'll be ready. So I had a bottle of wine while I was waiting for him. and anyway, he come down and with a straw.
No, it wasn't a straw. He had that hat on and he had 2 bottles in the side with a straw.
So when I got to the reception, what's it called? The
Intercontinental.
yeah.
Big boy was ready to roll.
I was ready to go.
He had
no,
trays
ready.
of Jim Beam and Coke, and Gow wasn't far behind him.
Yeah.
Well, they were Biggie, just to let you know, they were closing the bar
At 10:30.
because James Oz and yourself and Chris Warren were coming back to the hotel. I walked up to the bar and I said, "Look, we got some colleagues coming. We haven't had a drink all weekend. Can we order some?" And they go, "Yeah, we'll just put them on the table for you."
How good was that? That was
I
nice.
don't think they were expecting us to order 15 beers and 20 bourbon and cokes
And a bottle of red for
and
me.
a bottle of red. So we had a great
Well,
time.
I walked in. at, what time did I get there? 10:30. And I was shocked, some may say,
I love
to see a table like this full of bourbon and
It
Coke.
was like Henry VIII.
You on one side, Gallon on the other. They'd obviously run out of bourbon and Coke cups because there was 15 to 20 bourbon and Coke cups this size. And then obviously for the last few, they had to dive into the cupboard and they were
schooners.
like this big
Schooner glasses.
with bourbon and Coke in them. There was a silver... What would you have called that silver thing? Silver esky sort of thing.
Silver, yeah.
That held
Like a
15 to 20
like a chalice.
Yeah. Held 15 to 20 beers on ice,
Yep.
and then my bottle of red with a glass.
You'll love
That's
this.
what I walked
the bar
into.
staff come over and said, would you like us just to leave a couple of bottles of water, responsible drinking and all that sort of thing? I said, don't worry. By the time we get into them, the ice will have melted, so there'll be some water in it.
I'll tell you what, old Gal, he'd had a few, hadn't he?
Oh, yeah, he's ready to rock and
Good
roll.
on you, Gow.
I didn't go out, though. I'm not that stupid. So,
No.
no, it was a great Magic Round. Well done to all involved.
Yes.
And shout out to the ground staff. With all the wet weather, they did an amazing
No, you know what?
job.
Shout out to the WA supporters.
Oh, yeah.
They were the toast
Were they
of the
that
town.
good on
They were the
Sunday?
toast.
So
Yeah.
good.
You could hear them coming. And there's 7,000 or 8,000, I believe. And straight through Caxton, and there was like 3
That's unreal.
3 kilometres they went for.
Yeah, right.
Awesome.
We've got to get into the preview, and we'll talk about Vegas in just a sec too. The Sin Bin Weekly Award, worst decision or worst play over the Magic Round weekend. Is this a new thing?
Yeah, it's a new thing.
What have you got?
Ruben Cotter's sin binning.
Nah, I got one.
What the heck was that?
What's yours?
Damien Cook's no try. Are you serious, Grant Atkins? You stuffed us in bloody round 1 against the Bulldogs, and you come up with that shit call right on half time. Would have made it 12-6.
Yep.
Game on. And then the NRL come out and say, he got it wrong.
Yeah,
Thank you.
that was good.
I'm glad I got that off my chest.
That was good.
Have you got an issue with Grant Atkins or something? Or?
Well,
No, he's getting in the media. Okay.
well, yeah. Look out. Look out.
Anyway, there you are. That's what's
But
happening. in
mate,
rugby
did you
league.
see the Damien Cook one?
Yep.
Watch that in normal
Just see
speed every day.
What
Yeah,
about
I'm
Ruben
with
Cotter?
you as well.
Ruben Cotter.
The Ruben Cotter one, he didn't even touch him hardly. And,
Yeah.
professional foul in the bin.
Listen, just take a big deep breath.
No. Fuck. No.
Fork it.
The Damien Cook one was absolutely ridiculous. If that wasn't an example of the bunker looking to take away tries from teams, I don't know what was.
You can't take a trick at the moment, can you?
Nah, poor Draggies.
Ridiculous.
Anyway.
But you know what? I know we probably won't talk about it, or we will, but they showed some ticker.
Of course they did.
Bloody oath, they showed
course they
that.
did.
Score wasn't reflective
No.
of the game.
I just thought of another worst decision or worst play over the Magic Round weekend. Never, ever, if you're carpooling to the football with the continuous call team, agree to leave at a quarter to
That's you,
4:45 when you've got to be there for 7 o'clock.
MG. Right, story time with Pig again. I know we're going deep here, but
Why have I opened the door to this?
Yeah.
text group, right? We just landed, just got to the hotel, checked in, gonna lay down for a few hours. Get beep beep. Gonna Levy. We're leaving at 4:45 out the front. Be ready. So I'm like, 4:45. We're not on air till 7 o'clock at night. And I'm like, okay, well, we need to be
Traffic?
Just say we need to be there at 6. A good hour of prep.
It's only 6K away.
4:45. He's like, oh, nah, traffic, mate. So we jump in the cab. I'm already into him saying, why are we leaving at 4:45?
Well, just for the record, Neil the
No,
taxi
don't
driver.
throw him under the
No,
bus.
he told me. Neil the taxi
Neil
driver
the
said to
taxi
me,
driver.
Neil the taxi driver said, you've got to give yourself half an hour
Please.
because
Yeah.
all the traffic, it's very hard to get. Caxton Street's closed. I said, righto, 4:45.
And MG, we got there right on 5 o'clock. Took us 15 minutes. So we sat behind the stage
2 hours.
for 2 hours doing nothing.
No, we did 2 hours of preparation. It was the best Friday night we've ever done.
No, you're so full of shit.
Heck, it was the katsu chicken, by the way.
Oh, that was nice.
Oh, the food was good.
Anyway, we'll take a break.
I
Come
just
back
while
and-
you're on it, 4BC, you got to give them a big rap as well. For
Yes,
looking
thank you,
after us.
4BC.
All the gang up
Beautiful.
there.
Yeah.
Well done.
They
Thank
did a
you.
great job. Thank you very much for all your hospitality in Brisbane, and thank you to all the listeners that came along and said
Yes.
today as well. A few Mark My Words podcast listeners too, which is good.
That was good, wasn't it?
Well, boys, as we welcome our listeners back to the Mark My Words podcast, the 4 teams have been locked in for Vegas next year. West Tigers to play the Storm, the Eels to play the Titans. We're going too, baby.
Is anyone, I'm going to make a statement here, sorry. Is anyone a little bit underwhelmed?
How dare you?
No, I'm actually over Vegas, to be honest. I've been,
He's been once. He's been once.
I don't
You don't want to think about it yet, eh?
I don't want to go again.
Why not?
Oh, fuck. 8 days, mate.
Yeah, that's too long.
Me and
MG.
me's in the end, we're looking at each other going, what are we doing here? We're fucking mid-50s.
Guess what? We
It's
get to do it
too
all
long.
over again soon.
I've got to say, I'm a little underwhelmed
Why
with
are
the
you
game.
underwhelmed?
Well, I would have liked the Tigers to play the Eels. I thought that might have had a bit more
Yeah, true.
oomph in it, and Storm play Titans, but
I suppose they're looking at...
I don't get excited thinking about
They're
Eels versus
looking for a
Titans.
broadcast point of view, I think. If you play them two together,
yeah.
then you wouldn't get many watching Melbourne and
No,
Titans.
I know.
And
I
out of
know.
interest, who are the lead Leopards? Who's in that team?
Oh, that's
That's
Adrian
Lemmy.
Lamb
Lemmy's.
and Lachlan Lamb's
And they're
team.
up against, I think, Bradford.
Are they really?
I think
So
so.
they've been announced.
Yeah.
Oh, that's boring too.
Well, boring.
I'm not
Anyway,
a fan of
hashtag
either.
talk
of
up
those.
the game. How good's Vegas? We
Yeah.
can't wait to go there next year.
Like, you know what?
No, well, they're just for the English point of view. They're not two of the bigger clubs.
Yeah, okay.
Bradford were back in the day, but not now.
Well, we
suppose
started
everyone's
this little baby in
Yeah, on the
Vegas.
roof. That's right. We did too.
Oh yeah.
right.
Oh, that was dusty that day, wasn't it? And someone who was it? Harish filled up the beer bottles with water, and they were still full of beer.
Oh, thanks,
They were
Harry.
horrendous.
Horrendous. All right, well, let's get into round 12.
Right.
Thursday night footy, Raiders and the Dolphins, and obviously all the Origin players not
geez.
featuring. So Dane Laurie, 5'8". Adam Mariotta starts in the back row with Ethan Strange, Hudson Young in Blues camp, of course. Trey Fuller taking over at fullback and Nafahu White on the wing for the Dolphins. Anyway, you want all the team
Okay.
lists. You'll get it. Who you tipping?
I'm going to go Dolphins. Just looking at that,
Dolphin?
I like Farnworth and Bostock in the centres. Geez, they're good.
Yeah, that's a good call. I think, but without the hammer, I'm looking at the Raiders. Oh, actually, yeah, Raiders at home. They come off the bye.
You got Big Red too there. MG.
Yeah, but they haven't got two of their better players in Strange and Young.
Young. Yeah.
But
All right.
Raiders for mine.
The Raiders have won 3 of the last 4 against the Dolphins. Joe Tarpany playing his 100th game at GIO Stadium. Jack Bostock, 4 tries in his last 3 games. The Shell Harbour
Mate,
Stingrays on 5.
But hasn't he made a fist of right centre?
He was a dark horse for the Origin, I reckon. I reckon he was that close to being
He
picked.
does another 12 months of how
Centre.
he's playing. He's going to be pushing them for sure.
We're off to a core stadium at Piggy on Friday night for the Bulldogs and the Storm.
Yeah, we are.
Well, hello. Are you going to give us a tip?
Well, I'm just reading through the teams. To be honest with you, I haven't had a chance to scratch myself this week, so
No,
Well, what have you been doing? Saunering and fishing?
working.
he's been out my way today. He's been at
Been
St
out
Mary's.
again today, out at St Mary's, watching the CIS New South Wales trials.
You going back out there?
No, I'm going home.
Did you get any like black bookers?
Yeah, got a couple MG.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, a couple of black bookers. Fair dinkum. They're not racehorses.
But that's how
Well,
you, mate, that's how you
That's how you.
analyse
Yes.
it all. Well, and I'll give you a little insight here. There was a player out there playing on the wing, and I'm like, need to get her details because physically she was a lot more advanced than everyone else.
Okay.
Right.
And you could see the athletic, and she knew what she was doing, and she wasn't afraid of contact. So I'm like,
They're the 3 things you want.
when they're not afraid of contact in the girls' game,
Yep.
and if you've got a physical presence about them, I'm like,
Do all the club representatives like stand in a little conglomerate together?
nah, well, I may have moseyed my way over to where the coaches were that were selecting the teams. Well, I know them, and
Who were they?
you'll know them too. Glenn Morrison, Morrow.
Morrow?
Yeah, Glenn Morrison was the under-16s coach.
What, ex-Tigers and Cowboys?
And Parramatta. I played with Morrow at Parra.
Wow.
I hadn't seen Morrow for years because he's been living in England. He's only just come back. He's working at Central Coast, you know, the sports college on the Central
Yep.
Coast. And
Yep.
their big footy program up there. So he was coaching it. And then the 18s coach works with us down at the Dragons.
right, okay.
So,
Very good.
That's story time.
That's a good one.
Yeah, geez,
Who'd I tip?
there's 60 seconds of our life we're not going to get back.
Oh, I haven't had a look
Hello,
at these
Morrow.
teams. I'm going to go with doggies.
Me too. Doggies.
Doggies.
They-
Kiraz back.
Kiraz is back.
Yeah.
Yep.
Nice.
All right, then we go to the game that is played at Cogra. I wondered why there was all the... I drove past Dragons headquarters today, or the Leagues Club anyway, and they've got all these flags and everything up. Of course, you've got a home game
Sunday
coming
game,
up.
yeah.
Dragons and Warriors. Well, Piggy, start off with giving your Dragons a rap because they did. They showed a bit of fight last week.
Yeah, they did. Well, I got an opportunity to talk to Youngie for a while yesterday, actually. Mate, the young forwards have been very impressive. Couchman boys, Dylan Egan, Hamish Stewart. And he's rewarding those players. If they're performing, they're getting an opportunity. So I know he's selected Jaden Sewer in the centres.
Yeah, that's a bit strange. Isn't
well,
it? Is he mobile enough?
Moses Sully's just not 100% at the moment, I'm pretty sure, without giving too much away.
But it gives you a bit of starch out there in the centres in defence as well.
And he wants to reward the blokes that I just spoke about. You know,
Yep.
Dylan Egan and Hamish Stewart have been doing a great job. So, yeah, Jaden Sewers, from what I've been told, he's really happy to be given that opportunity there. So he's going to do a job for the boys. It's another big game for him, obviously, against the Warriors.
You know what I like about the Warriors is their coach Webster about Luke Metcalf, how he's treated him.
Yeah.
As soon as Tanner Boyd was out, you think, okay, he's straight in there. But he reckons, or he says that the disruption you had last week with flying back to Sydney twice
Yep.
to talk to different teams,
Clubs.
Bulldogs and then Dragons, he hasn't got enough Ks in his legs to play.
Yeah,
in
they
the-
talk about training
Yeah,
loads, and that
loads.
these days. Yep.
And that's why these guys are onto something big this year, the
Yeah.
Warriors. Because I thought straight away he's going in. But for that reason, at $1.22, I think the Warriors might get him.
All right, Warriors to win that one. We then turn over the page
Only 5 games,
to
yeah.
the Cowboys and South Sydney, 4 o'clock on Sunday.
Lots of
Yeah.
a young guy called Hugo Hart for the Manly.
You missed a game.
Hang on, I missed a game.
Oh,
Sorry.
sorry, Hugo.
Manly
and the Titans at
Yeah,
4 points.
that's what
Come on, mate. If you're going to host,
That's what I'm on. So obviously this round, while it's not
Well, you know what? You can do it yourselves next week. I'm barring you.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah, good.
It's Origin.
oh,
night.
good tease.
I was trying to create a little bit of drama.
I know. The best thing about these rounds is we get to see maybe half a dozen kids make their debuts.
Hmm.
And there's a kid for the Manly Seagulls this weekend called Hugo Hart coming off the bench. He'll make his debut. So what on to Hugo? And
What a good name.
That's a great name.
Hugo
Hart.
Hart.
Jeez, I hope he can play.
I hope he's a gun. I can't see the Titans without Tino troubling Manly at home, even though they've got a couple of Origin players themselves, Olakawatu and Kohler.
Yeah.
And young Hopewadi, who's been in fantastic form. He's out suspended. So, for that reason, I think at 4 points, Manly.
Manly.
All right. And then we go to Cowboys to South Sydney on Sunday
Did
in
you just say
Townsville.
that?
Intriguing.
Yeah, you don't know how to host the podcast. Come on, MG. Who do you tip in this one, legend?
Cowboys, mate. Sorry.
Cowboys.
Well,
Got to be Cowboys.
they've got Cam Murray's out and Ruben Cotter's out. They're the only two. Can you believe that the Cowboys have only got one player in Origin?
Well,
And
Dearden's out, obviously.
Yeah.
Injured, he would have been in there.
Yeah.
They were horrendous, the Rabbitohs last week. God, they were bad.
they were, weren't they?
Shocking.
I don't think they'll be like that again. Penatani, did anyone see that? I don't know if you saw the social media. It's obviously
Sister?
Yeah, the sisters. Well, the brother is getting an opportunity.
Well, there you go. That's
Talanoa Penatani.
There you go. Beautiful.
Starting on the wing. And there's actually a really good social media video on the Bunnies one.
Yeah, I
And
saw
he's
that.
FaceTiming
Yeah.
his sister and
Ah,
the
that.
family,
Right,
his
isn't
mum and that. It was really good. So how good's that?
You know, the other great social media clip I saw was the Panthers, Ivan Cleary, after the game last week, telling Casey McLean that he got
in the
picked.
sheds, yeah.
Casey
Yeah.
Maguire.
Like you could tell he was trying to
Oh.
smile, but he kept like trying to stop himself. Oh, mate, just go with it.
Yeah.
You know, he's trying to be cool in front of his mates.
What about Loz?
Casey Maguire.
Oh.
No.
Mate.
Casey Maguire has just gone 15 years ago. He retired. Now he goes. He's trending number one.
He's back.
He's number one. They're doing videos with him. They're doing TV interviews. He's on.
Greatest comeback since Alfie.
One job. One job, Loz.
To listener questions, if you've got a question for the boys, make sure you leave it in the comments section and we'll whip through as many as we can each week. The first one comes from Greg. MG, the Perth Bears officially enter the comp in 2027. Looking at the massive list of players currently coming off contract, who is the one veteran currently on the market that Perth must sign to ensure they're competitive from day one?
Isaiah.
Yes.
I'd love him to be. I'd love him to get them.
Good answer.
He could be on 1.5 over there for 3 years. He's just a rock solid
Mate,
player.
wouldn't he be?
He'd be it.
Kev?
He'd
Imagine.
Yep. He'd be.
Because not only what he brings off the field and on the field, but who would then feel comfortable going over there as well?
He'd be an attraction.
Yeah,
Massive
big
attraction.
attraction.
Yep.
To set them up with obviously their professionalism and everything like that off the field and training but then to, for the first few years, because we've spoken about the ages of a lot of the players that they've signed are in their early to mid-20s.
Yep.
They're long-term futures and they're
Yep.
going to be going like that. But if you had Isaiah Yeo there, my God.
Huge.
Oh, my goodness.
Joy writes, with Connor Watson touring Port Moresby and potentially taking a leadership role, is the chief strategy of heavily targeting seasoned, versatile utilities the smartest way to build a competitive roster from scratch?
He's only.
Geez, what a good question.
He's the first utility.
Yeah.
They've got Jerome, who's a 5'8",
Jerome
and
is a
Alex
6 and a
Johnson's a winger.
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
Look, Connor
You're right,
would be
wasn't
good
it? It was
for
a
him.
good question.
Connor would be good for him because he's
Oh,
an
he'd be-
experienced player.
Mate, anyway, look, all these guys that they're getting, and he flew up there with his fiancée, I believe, who's a model. So she's kind of trying to think, well, there's no modelling opportunities in PNG, but how often can I get up here and how often can I get back?
Influencer, beautiful backdrops. What a beautiful location.
Yeah, of a compound.
Yeah. John, despite only extending Connor Tracy a month ago, reports suggest Canterbury is actively shopping for a new marquee fullback. Are the Dogs panicking and managing their cap poorly, or does young halfback Lockie Galvin just lack the necessary elite support in the spine to truly succeed?
What's doing at the Dogs? I know. Is everyone afraid to say it, or
No, well,
mate? What's doing? Like they got rid of Reed Marnie, and then the next minute I saw a photo of Gus with Sam
Verrills.
So obviously they're admitting that Bailey Haywood isn't the answer at 9, which
No,
they
well,
thought was.
he's not.
and he's not. And before he was doing the hooking role, he was doing an unbelievable job through the middle.
Coming on as like a lock.
Round the ball there.
Madness.
So I'm like, and then now we hear this about Connor Tracy.
What about Gussie,
no
mate,
idea.
calling the photographer of that meeting with Verrills up there at Magic Round a moron? Gussie, mate, you know more than anyone. Behind closed doors, if you want a meeting, Gus, he wanted people to see him. You wanted them. You can't handle the truth. You wanted people to see you. But look,
the old photo.
How many times have you seen it? The Chinese restaurant, and all he sees he says, "Make sure you get that side profile, and just get." You go, you bastards! You got me the wrong side.
And just wait till I lean forward so it looks like I'm offering something.
He's forgotten more than most people know about rugby league, and everything he does has a reason behind it. And I bet at the moment he's reeling a bit because, as you mentioned, Piggy, the doggies are in turmoil. No one expected them to be here. This time last year they were top of the competition, and now they're battling to be, fifth or sixth bottom. So things got to change. They've got to change quickly for them.
All right, let's get into the bets. There was one there from Tommy, but we touched on Victor a little earlier. So I need MG's multi and Piggy's pick, please.
I'm going to go the Cowboys and Souths game. I think with Alex Johnson being back, he'll score. And I think Jackson Purdue will score. Same game multi, Purdue into Johnson. It'll be about $3.10.
All right. What about you, Pig?
Well, a couple of weeks ago here, I tipped my horse.
Here we go.
They're running again.
Racing again on Saturday, so I think it's only appropriate that I tip the horse again. And bear with me because it's only
checking the odds,
just checking everything. I don't even think it's come out yet, but it's in the Chief De Beers.
Yep.
Race 5 at Doomben. Just going to see the prices aren't up yet, but it is number 8. So race 5, number 8 at Doomben, Flying Destiny. We've drawn wide. We've drawn 13.
Okay, it's in the Gary
There's a fair bit of speed.
It's in the Gary Stakes.
Yeah. In the what?
Gary.
What's that?
The Beers. From In Excess.
Oh, I don't know.
Only a few kids watching this show with that.
But anyway, Doomben, race 5, number 8, Flying Destiny. If you want to get on.
Okay, the Michael De Beers Stakes.
All right, boys.
There you go.
Good to be. Yes, I like that one.
Well done.
Well,
what do you
so,
got?
He's off there. He's off the Lithgow.
You're off to Lithgow jail.
So when this goes,
Not the jail.
go see Poppy Guyer. He's
Is he in the jail?
my pop's in there, yeah.
Is he?
With his cellmate Sunjib.
Sorry, hang on. Can we explore this a bit more?
He didn't. He wasn't an avid listener.
No, he's a baby.
What's happened?
You're a baby. You're a pup.
What's happened?
MG's grill team used to have Poppy Guyer from Lithgow jail.
Oh, right.
Hello, boy. Sunjib, stop doing that.
Sorry, I did. I was obviously working here.
Oh, no.
Wouldn't listen to the radio stations, of course not. Anyway.
No.
All right, boys, we'll have a good week. It's a shortened weekend of footy, but then we're into it for Origin next week. And just so the listeners know, you guys are going to record straight after the game.
Yeah.
A bit of a review of Origin, which will go up on the, Thursday one on? So it'll go up on the Thursday. So the boys will do that. I've got to get home and have a sleep before I back up for the morning show, so you can do it by yourselves.
And the Blues have got to win, don't they?
They've got to win. Game one in Sydney.
Sydney, Melbourne, Brisbane. Come on, the Blues.
Yeah.
Come on, the Blues.
Need to win.
All right, gents, have a great week. Come on, Blues. Come on, Laurie.
Go the Dragons.
Get stuffed, Queensland. Love you, Billy. All the usual stuff. Piggy, have a good week.
Bye-bye.
MGC over the weekend.
Adios.
That's it for Mark My Words. Enjoy your footy and then enjoy State of Origin next week.
You win some, you lose more. For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website